What's up, everybody? It's your boy Chaos, and welcome to a new episode of Take It to the Table. We've got a jam-packed episode. First off, we're going to be talking about the launch of WWE's ID, and obviously what are the pros and maybe cons of the new program. We're also going to be talking about why we think that Roman versus The Rock should be the main event. Or not be. This is what we're here to talk about. And also, guess what? We're coming up to the 1 year anniversary of CM Punk's WWE return. Has it been worth it? Has it been money well spent? We'll obviously dive into that. And finally, we're going to wrap it up with obviously talking about Cole and MJF storyline. Has it paid off? Is it being paid off? Or is it pretty much one of the biggest screw-ups of all time? We will.
I think we could skip that one. Yeah, we skipped that one, the technicality. Yeah, I think that's good.
Technical difficulties there. Sorry. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And without further ado, let's take it to the table. So yeah, we are here, and obviously I'm not here alone. Of course, I am joined here with an esteemed panel, and of course, it's none other than Anthony, David Sheldon, returning David Sheldon, and of course, Soul. How you doing today, guys?
Wow. The enthusiasm when you say Soul, and by the way, just so everyone knows, Chaos is doing at least 2 of those topics just to mess with Soul. So let's have some fun.
Oh yes.
Yeah, cool. I work a 12-hour shift. Cool. This is like
I do get some enjoyment out of Soul's little name tag.
Yeah.
Because I am just going to start singing because he's just Soul. Pretty soon he'll be on a roll. Thank you. I take writing commissions.
This is actually just my name tag from work at IKEA. So I decided just to put it in there. Why not for the lulz or Costco, whatever's trending now with this boom guy, Mr. Costco man.
Before we kick things off with a very very jump topic, I am hungry, and so what I'm going to incorporate into this episode is I have next to me a Tesco's finest lasagna. Other brands are available. If anybody starts to make stupid comments, I'm just going to start eating my lasagna because I haven't got time to put up with nonsense today, and I'm hungry. So
you're saying if we make good points, you can't eat, and you have to eat cold lasagna when somebody says a dumb take like 20 minutes or 30 minutes later.
Yeah.
Quickly say something smart.
It's my challenge. It is my challenge to you to make better points so that I don't have to eat.
I mean, okay, no pressure there.
I don't believe you mean that.
David, there are other ways to diet, mate. I mean, you don't. That's a hell of a way.
It's Tesco finest. That shit ain't cheap. Like, but fair enough.
Bro, where's Marks and Spencer's? Where's that bougie shit?
Bougie.
I've just realized we're saying brands Amphy doesn't recognize. What's Marks and Spencer's equivalent to Americans?
Kmart.
Publix.
Okay.
What the fuck's a Publix?
It's a grocery store. It's a grocery store in Lake Florida. I know that.
Florida has grocery stores.
Publix is like Marks and Spencer's and Waitrose if they had a baby. That's
wow.
Yeah. So if you make your way through all the alligators, Mickey Mouses, and racists, then it's right at the end. Just right at the end on the right.
The question is how many cease and desists could Chaos get in one episode?
In less than 5 minutes. God damn. Oh Jesus. All right. Cool.
Yeah, none of us have sworn. Yeah, I think as well, which is I think a record.
No, actually, I've done.
Several times.
You slandered multiple companies, but yeah, sure.
For the children, we're a Christian organization.
Oh God! All right.
Oh great! Now he's going into religion. Come on, Chaos. Let's get this back on track.
Yeah, I'm gonna. There's a lot of stuff I'm gonna cut out. Anyway, before we get into those the topics. But first, in the words of Jigsaw, I like to play a game.
A quick fuck one. Off.
Yes. I don't care. This is what you get for just mouthing off. It's gonna be a quick one. It's the return of the good old-fashioned blind rankings. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna get into that quickly. So try not to get. Yeah, don't stress. I'm not gonna make you rap. Don't worry. That's coming soon.
No, I thought you were going to make me find the WCW pay-per-view posters and guess which
Is
one.
it
No. That would take
Is
too
it
long.
Crush Hour?
Fuck off.
I gotta check.
I'm going to buy you a sealed copy of that one day as a joke.
I'm gonna guess it's Backstage or Soul.
No. Nothing to do with video games. I need to do that again soon. No. We are going to do blind rankings of the top 10 best wrestling returns. All right. Is that fair? Is that good? Yeah.
Yep.
Is this just WWE or is this everywhere?
It's gonna be everywhere. It's gonna be everywhere.
I'm assuming this is a work together.
Right. D'Lo Brown's return in 2008. Number 1, please.
Shut up. So I don't think you've done these blind rankings, David. So yeah. So basically,
I've never done this, so I'm new
okay.
to this myself.
Oh, fair enough. Okay. So basically, you get there's gonna be 10 slots. I give each of you one like a subject or whatever, and then obviously you choose where you want to put it in that top 10. And obviously you keep on going until, who knows, the last one I might say, you might, oh goddamn, I wish that was number 1, but it's already been taken. And then you just gotta deal with it.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right, cool. Anyway, top 10 wrestling returns. Okay, I'm gonna start with you, Anthony, since you're obviously right at the top. So the person you're gonna get, Brock Lesnar, 2012.
Ooh, that was the return with Cena, was it not?
Oh yeah, when he F5
Yeah. All right, I have no idea where else this is gonna go.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna go 8.
You're gonna put that one at 8, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. David Sheldon, you're getting hello. You're getting Edge Royal Rumble return.
Which one? He's had 2.
Sorry, that's a good point. Sorry.
The big one. The big one.
Yeah.
The big one.
2020.
Oh, this is tricky. It's an amazing moment. It was very heavily rumored online, so it didn't quite have that level of shock, but it was still an incredible moment. 4.
Ooh, 4. Okay.
I'm gonna go with 4.
Okay, so 4 and 8 has been taken. Sorry, I'm looking around for paper. There we go. So
this is almost like it's being professionally done.
I know. I'm all over the joint today.
Oh my god!
No.
Next thing you know, he'll be using a fountain pen instead of a pencil.
So you're getting the Hardy Boys, WrestleMania 33.
Whoa. See, that's an interesting one because I remember back then I wasn't even watching wrestling, but it was trending online of how popular this was.
And you had no idea even what that meant.
Yeah, I was like, who's these hardy fellas? Are they like hardy in strength and structure? Or I don't know what.
All right, David, you definitely have to eat something after that comment. Come on.
I'm going to put the Hardy Boys WrestleMania 33 at 3.
3. Okay. All right. So 8, 4, and 3 have been taken. Back to
One of the
you.
loudest. It's definitely one of the loudest I've ever heard.
100%. I was there, and I can attest to that. I was part of that loudness.
I don't know if I would go 3, but let's see what the rest of it goes.
All right. Okay. Let me just get the year right. Actually, no, it doesn't matter. This wasn't really actually, it was a return. All right, cool. Anthony, your one.
Mm-hmm.
CM Punk, AEW.
Because we don't know what the other ones are going to be. I'll go 5.
5.
Wow.
Well, because I'm not sure what 1 and 2. 1 and 2, there could be there's 2 that I can think of for 1 and 2, but I don't.
It's true. I get that.
But
I mean, listen. If Soul didn't take 3, I would have made it 3. In all seriousness.
Okay, so 8, 4, 3, and 5 has been taken. David, you get Triple H 2001, the return from the quad.
MSG.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Beautiful day.
The denim day.
I mean, it's an amazing return.
Mm-hmm.
It is an amazing return. I remember distinctly when Ben was putting together his best returns tournament, and we lobbied heavily for this to be in. It wasn't originally.
Yep.
With that said, I think there will be, as hard as it is to say, I think there will be 2 higher. So I don't think I can put it in the top 2. 3, 4, and 5 have been taken.
Yep.
Yeah.
I am going to give it a little bit of space, and I'm going to say reluctantly, because I love it, 7.
7. Wow. Okay.
But it's great. All of these are going to be great.
Yeah.
That's the reason they're on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Soul, you get The Rock, 2011.
That's the one where he's the host of WrestleMania, right?
Yes,
And
sir.
he's like a big...
Or is that surprise? Is it the surprise Raw one when he just
No.
Yeah.
Wait,
Okay,
so it shows up on Raw, but yeah, that one.
Yeah.
He shows up to WrestleMania.
So
Yeah.
if I'm correct, and Anthony and Chaos will probably remind me of this, he hadn't been on WWE television since WrestleMania 20 at that point, or
Correct.
was it a bit?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a fair while. Ooh.
7 years.
And it was unannounced when he originally came back. When he came back, no one knew. He just came out.
You know what? I generally think it's a very, very good one because it was such a long time. I don't think people expect it. Be my haters, but I'm going to give it a 2.
Wow. Okay.
Fair.
All right.
If that is fair. I'm trying to keep a tally of this as well, so I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Oh, this is an interesting one. Who should I give this one to? Oh, wait a minute. Yeah.
You're going in order, aren't you? Not?
Yeah, no, I'm going in order. Sorry, apologies.
He's changing the script.
He's like, this is an interesting one. I'm just going to blow the whole game up and go somewhere else.
He's Vincent and he's tearing up the script.
Chris, so Anthony, Chris Jericho, 2007.
Oh, that's the short hair. 10.
Yeah, save us. Yeah.
10.
Wow. Okay, fair enough.
You think I want to go 1 with that? Come on.
Okay.
But short hair, Anthony. Short hair.
Jericho's. I think that the problem with Jericho is he's had too many great ones. I think the return at the Rumble. I think he's had so many great returns that they sort of dilute.
His greatest one is his debut. The debut Y2J is the greatest moment of his as far as coming in.
Yeah. I also love when he comes back in 2012 and doesn't say anything and then
the biggest troll.
That was the Doomsday vignette one.
Yeah. David, you get
hello.
You get Goldberg 2016.
2016.
Yeah.
That's the Brock. That's the Brock return.
So what is left? 1, 6.
2, 1 and 6. And 9.
1, 6, and 9. The thing with the Goldberg return is the actual return has very little. It depends on the criteria that we're going off. If we're going off the actual return itself, it's announced. It's Michael Cole in the ring. He walks through the roster, comes out, and does, from my memory, not very much beyond the start of the setup of the Brock stuff. So why, if we were going off the actual Survivor Series match, I think it's amazing. But I'm going to put it 9.
9. Okay.
Because the actual return itself isn't much.
No, fair enough. I do remember he got a good pop, but nah, that makes sense.
It is one of those hell froze over though things because of how bad that he left the company, and it is definitely one of those things where you're like, I never thought that was going to happen again. You know,
it's a great return, but looking at what I think will come. I think I know at least one of the other 2.
I think you and I are of the same mindset of the 2 that could be there, but
And I don't think either of them are going to be better.
It is going to be Santina Marella returning at the 2020 Rumble, right?
Shit, I got to change that. Okay. So your one is
God. So this is for spot 1 and 6, right?
Yeah.
Shit.
Is that a return? Yeah, actually is. Yeah. Sting, AEW.
Oh fuck.
I don't know if I qualify that as a return. I consider that a debut, is it not?
Yeah, but neither's Punk. But we got Punk.
That's what I was about to say.
No, but the Punk would be a return. Well, yeah, I guess.
No.
Into wrestling. Okay, all right, yeah.
Go with it.
Yeah,
Go
we'll
with
go.
There is a right and a wrong answer to this one, so there is.
Don't fucking pressure me, lasagna boy. Fuck
This is
no.
not hard.
This is so hard. I don't know my numbers. I need to calculate.
I don't think David has enough lasagna to finish through this.
All right, give Sting in AEW a 6.
6. Okay, 6. Fair enough.
You threw the whole board off with your 2 and 3s.
Now, Anthony,
David and I were like, "Damn, what do we do now?"
You have to deal with the consequences of D'Lo Brown 2008.
Yeah, I was going to say, if this is the one that we think it's going to be, then yeah, I think we've got this right. If it isn't, then we might have screwed the pooch on this. So we've held off right till the end.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. You just never know. And Anthony, your final one is CM Punk WWE return.
1.
It's funny because that is not where I thought we were going.
Really?
I thought the 2 that I was thinking of were Punk and Cody. Those were the 2 that were in my head. I was thinking.
My head went straight to Cena 2008 Rumble. That was. I thought that was.
Yeah.
And I thought that was going to be that's why I was saying, that's going to be number 1 because it's one of the most famous. But to be fair, Cody or Punk's, even though, Punk's made me very cross at the time, but Cody's or Punk's or that, I think it would have been the right decision anyway.
Yeah, those 3, I agree.
It's a hell froze over moment for. I mean, even though Cody didn't end with super bad blood, sort of bad blood, but not so much. Again, he was the founder of AEW. No one thought he would jump. Like it went quick. It went. Cody resigned to Cody's talking WWE return. You're like, that can't be right. And then it was like, no, it's a done deal. You're like,
yeah.
Wait a minute.
Like it was all the same day in a matter of like an hour. Like all this stuff was coming out, and you're like.
And it was more funny as well because like 2 months later, Cody's final AEW figure came out, and it was like the first one in their Supreme line. It was kind of.
I had it. Yeah.
This is weird.
Looking at this final list, which is Jericho 10, Goldberg 9, Lesnar 8, Triple H 7, Sting 6, Punk 5, Edge 4, Hardy's 3, Rock 2, Punk 1. I think the only one that I would say is massively out of place, I think, is Punk, and I think that's probably the AEW return.
Oh, okay. The other one,
I think is too, which I think is probably too low.
Yeah,
but I think to be fair,
we got jammed.
That's pretty.
We got jammed on that one. We couldn't put him any higher.
Yeah, which idiot did that? Boo that guy! Boo that
guy! Me personally, I would put Punk as 1 and 2. Like I haven't seen no one get a bigger pop.
But
of the 10, Punk's return is the only one I saw live. I didn't see Sting. Oh no, I did. I saw Sting's, but I saw Sting's like on a 3-day tape delay because I watched it on ITV4. That was the first episode of AEW I ever watched. Was the Sting debut. Punk's return to WWE I was asleep, and I know that because I woke up and threw a massive paddy.
Yep, same.
When I woke up and saw him come back. The only other return I can think of that I've seen live that gave me that level was Bray's. It
was in Philly that when you're talking about
I stayed up till 5 a.m. specifically to see that return because I knew it was going to happen. And then didn't sleep because I was crying too hard how happy I was that my idol had come back. But like all the rest of them, I was too young for. Even Edges, I didn't watch that Rumble live. So it sometimes seeing a return live is great fun. And
100%.
Yeah, I remember I stayed up to see Punk's return, so that I was just like, I have to see this.
For me as well, off that list, the only 3 that I've seen watching live was Punk AEW, Sting AEW, and Edge 2020. Like for me, watching physically live in person.
The Punk one to WWE return was so wild because, obviously there were rumors of that. We all part of us suspected it, but they played that so well.
Beautifully.
They showed the end cryon. You thought, okay, the rumors weren't true. And then that music hits. And you're like, literally remember saying to my buddy who was over here watching it with me, I went, those crazy bastards did it. They pulled it off. And when we found out about it recently with Punk, like that was last second him signing that paperwork.
Yeah.
It came this close to not happening.
Yeah, it was meant to be Rumble, and they said no. Actually, we can squeeze you in right now, like the Survivor Series.
My favorite part of that was so when are you free for the non-compete? And he goes, Nick, I was rather fired publicly. You know, he goes, so we could maybe do this earlier.
Yeah,
in Chicago.
He was like, "Oh, what word? Okay, cool."
I'll say as well. What's funny is I remember waking up the day after Survivor Series had happened and saw on Reddit, "Oh my God, WWE return!" And I thought, "Oh no, it's Punk." Opened it, it's R-Truth, and I laughed. I was like, "Oh, that's funny." Wait, what's this post above it with 10K upvotes? Oh shit.
The scene is sitting there, that's cross-legged, just like, oh god damn it! Please tell me it's an open.
I think that's funny enough, Chaos. A perfect segue into one of the topics.
I think so. Yeah, let's just go into that as well. Definitely. Since obviously he's number one. Exactly. Well, not exactly. Next month.
And this is the shirt from that return.
There you go. Then yeah. In November, it will be coming up to a year of Punk actually returning at Survivor War Games that night in Chicago. One of the greatest returns of all time, clearly, evidently on this in this list. A year on, obviously some things have happened. Both in ring, outside the ring, stuff happening with the other company. We just want to get you guys' thoughts on, obviously, with everything that's going on. Obviously, his storyline with McIntyre, the stuff happening with Rollins, and all that stuff. Has it gone the way that you expected, especially, are you surprised that he's been on this good behavior, are you just not impressed? So I just wanted to get you guys' thoughts on the situation regarding Punk, and are you happy with him being a part of WWE once again? So let's actually go with the guy that's actually wearing the War Games tee. And then we'll obviously go around. So what's your thoughts on this, on CM Punk a year on from Survivor Series War Games?
I think it's a fun irony in the fact that we went into that game blind and Punk still came out on top. Even if we weren't blind, I think that would have been the number one choice for that. CM Punk is somebody that oftentimes I think is misunderstood. And when he had all those problems in AEW, it did surprise me, because when you look at it, for 10 years, he was in WWE. And we never heard a single backstage issue with him, conflict. Until he left, no one heard anything. So, obviously things ended badly there for a wide variety of reasons. I don't entirely leave that at his doorstep. I feel there are a lot of that stuff, people working against him behind the scenes, and he finally just snapped. I'm not justifying it, but it obviously was not a good fit for those involved. Him returning to WWE in a lot of ways felt like he's returning home. He was there for a decade. It does not surprise me at all that he has not had any issues with anybody. Everything that we've heard from the NXT talent to the people that work with him is that he's phenomenal to be around. And I don't believe it's because of the behavioral clause in the contract, because if it really was that, quite frankly, he wouldn't be showing up to extra NXT tapings, not even on the show, just to help talent. He's not doing that just because of a clause in a contract. I don't believe. The other thing that I saw at WWE World, AJ Styles was there. They were interviewing, they're asking him questions on the stage, and somebody brought up CM Punk. And for years, AJ said, I will never do business with him. I want nothing to do with him. That's not the answer he gave at WWE World. He goes, this CM Punk, the CM Punk that returned, this is a guy I could do business with. This is a guy I would love to get in the ring with again. When you hear all the talents praise him, the one thing that did shock me, it shocks me how well him and Triple H are getting along. That to me is probably the wildest thing. Like the pose, granted, you break the internet with the posed photo, but like it seems genuine. Everything you see appears to be that way, and I'm happy for him. He's in a good place. He's had arguably one of, if not the feud of the year with Drew. He's doing business. He's in a good place. AEW got what they wanted, although it probably has not worked out well for them. I'm not here to bury them, but they got what they wanted. I'm not sure they're happy with what they got. But Punk's WWE run, everything looks positive. So I don't anticipate a major issue. I don't see one. It seems like he gets along with everybody. And if they don't get along with him, they're at least willing to do business with him. And at the end of the day, it's a business. It's all about making money. And it seems like everyone's on board.
Agreed. Just like you said, he's not here to make friends. He's here to make money. And yeah, if that's one thing that Punk knows about is business and, you know, trying to put butts in seats. And there's quite a few points that I do agree with you in that I don't believe he has a behavior clause in his contract. He's just happy to be there, and he's in a functioning company, like, you know, that actually has certain things in the place that, and, you know, knows what they're doing, kind of thing. Again, I'm not trying to bury AEW, and I understand they're a startup. They're obviously, you know, a young company, but obviously whatever processes they have over there is just obviously it's not the right ones, or they just haven't implemented it yet compared to what WWE is doing. It's a more functioning company. And also, let's be honest, Punk probably still wouldn't be there if Vince was still in charge. We also got to take that into account as well. And if he was still in there, he probably wouldn't be as happy. Understandably so as well.
It's a lot more mature roster too in WWE.
Yeah.
When you look at it, there's a maturity factor in there. There's also the way that they bring up the talent in NXT, because obviously the majority of the locker room right now have all gone through NXT, whether they were under Dusty, whether they were under Regal, whether they were under Shawn, all people that taught respect for the business and to honor the locker room and, you know, keep order. So it doesn't shock me that there's no issues there.
No, 100%. What about you, David? What's your thoughts on the current CM Punk run? And have you enjoyed it? Not enjoyed it? What's your thoughts on the whole on it so far?
Well, I think, you know, my position on Punk leaving AEW was very clear back when it happened last year. I stand by everything I said about him at the time. I thought he was childish. I thought he was immature. I thought he treated the company that had brought him back into wrestling with contempt. He was not the only problem. There were plenty of others within AEW, but I don't think that absolves Punk of the blame for some of the stupid things that he did, and he was rightly fired. And on the back of what Anthony said about AEW, you know, having got what they wanted, but maybe not being happy with what they got, far better for your to have a ratings dip than have a cancer in your locker room. Punk was never fitting into that company, not particularly in the last year. They had to get rid of him. With that said, I think that the first year in WWE has been a great success. I think that he is doing well. I think that I do believe he has a behavioural clause in his contract, but to the other point, I don't think that is entirely the reason why he's behaving. I think he is happy. He feels prosperous. Obviously, with AEW, everything seemed fine for the first 2 years, and then it all kind of fell apart. I don't think that'll happen again, but obviously it's something to bear in mind. My general stance on Punk at the moment is I don't like the man. I still don't like the man. I still think that he was disrespectful and treated AEW in a terrible way. Not entirely his fault, but doesn't absolve him of his own misgivings. And this is not the first time he's done this. But I don't have to like Punk to respect his work, and I don't have to like Punk to acknowledge that he's doing great things right now. I think the feud with Drew has been mostly great, a bit too dragged out, not entirely their fault. Punk got injured. But I think that the best bits of that have been great. He's obviously taken a month off for Crown Jewel. I would imagine that's because he doesn't want to work Saudi. And then he'll come back for Survivor Series, I reckon, to feud with Gunther, which would be great. I am very happy with the work that he's doing. I'm happy. I, as a wrestling fan, don't want people to dislike each other. I want people to get on, and I want people to do good things. So if I see Punk doing good work, I'm not going to sit there and go, oh, when's it going to turn? Because that's not for me. I don't have any financial stake in Punk or WWE or any of those guys. I just want what's best for everyone. So if Punk is behaving and if Punk is doing good work, as he seems to be having a good time, then I'm happy, because Punk is a phenomenal talent. I've never questioned his talent. I questioned his ethics, but I never questioned his talent. And so if Punk is behaving and working well within that company, I don't have to like Punk as a person to acknowledge that I think as a creative at the moment, and as he is doing great things and is not causing trouble that at least we are aware of. And that's all I need at the moment as a fan, to be like, great, Punk, do what you want to do. I'm enjoying what he's giving me.
Yeah, no, there's some good points there. I agree with you're going in there with going into it with the right mindset, unlike other or majority of the IWC. Whereas in terms of you're not counting on the day that he slips on a banana peel, like you still, even though you don't like him as a person, you still respect his work. Like
the last thing I ever want for a man of that talent, because Punk is phenomenally talented, the last thing you want is to sit there. I want Punk to be here for the rest of his days and to have great feuds with people and get on with everyone, because you want everybody to get on with everyone. You don't want, I don't see, while, like I said, I have my own issues with Punk, I don't see the thing of wanting to sit there and wait for him to fuck it up. I hope he never does. And that's the mindset. I think that mindset you have to have, otherwise they'll eat you alive.
Yeah, exactly. No, and you could, like I say, yeah, you could definitely see that he's genuinely happy, whether he has the clause or not. Me personally, I don't think he does, but yeah, if he does, then that's fair enough. But I don't think he's just doing it just to appease the higher ups. He's genuinely wants to be there for the up and coming wrestlers and hopefully take over NXT one day, kind of thing, because that's what he wants to strive for. Go on, Anthony.
I'll be honest, I think he came into wrestling, number one, I think because he missed it, and number two, I think he wanted to get back. And when you're trying to get back to younger talent and give advice, if that younger talent thinks they know better or that they've made it already because they're on TV, I can understand why you'd be offended by that, of going, listen, I've been to the mountaintop. I am trying to offer advice. If you don't want it, fine. There were too many egos involved in AEW behind the scenes that pretty much killed this, and mismanagement to handle it. That's why it blew up the way it did. But obviously,
it's also an insecure man child at the center of it.
No, no. Listen, I get it. He shouldn't have blown up when he did in front of the press conference, but a lot of people drove him to that. When you're trying to get this company to the next level and you're being undermined by people up the top in the company, and you have an owner who doesn't put the kibosh on it behind the scenes of going, you ain't doing this shit. This is my company. I'm not having any of it. But no one wanted to confront anybody. So, and they never resolved it. You could have made so much money on that. With the whole angle, you could have done a whole thing with it, but no one wanted to talk. Oh no, we won't talk to him. We'll just keep them all in the company and keep them on separate brands, and it'll work out. Of course, it didn't. Obviously, AEW got what they wanted.
As much as I hate to admit it, I know one person that would definitely benefit from that, and he loves money, and that is a guy that's obviously not at WWE anymore, and that's Vince. it might have been good, it might not have been good, but that guy, obviously, when it comes to controversy, he is someone that knows how to benefit from that. I need to really be careful with my words, but you know what I mean. Like it's something that it would have worked there, but at the same time, he wouldn't have tried that kind of shit over there as well. He wouldn't have tried it.
I think there's a respect factor. Like there's a respect factor with Hunter. There was a respect factor that Punk had with Vince, because so there was kind of free reign to go off at the press conference, which, quite frankly, is probably Punk's greatest promo of all time. It probably is. The only one that really won out of that was Mindy's. But like I said, Punk's in a better place now. AEW got what they wanted. So everyone got what they wanted in the end, and the fans win because you see a happy Punk and he's delivering quality content. So it's a win for wrestling fans as a whole.
Yeah. No, 100%. So yeah, from even though I do appreciate everyone's opinions on this, I would definitely want to hear from the guy that was at one point a CM Punk stan and now is no longer a CM Punk stan. But I remember at one point in the GC recently, he actually said he likes Punk. So yeah, something must have obviously swayed him from obviously since Brawl Out.
Can I predict what made Soul change? And Soul could tell me if I'm wrong. Did it have anything to do with Punk saying that his haters fueled his success, and because you hated him so much that you helped his success, and therefore you can't hate him anymore?
The floor is yours, Soul.
Yeah, fuck off.
Little on the nose, wasn't I, Chaos?
Here's the thing, right? You all know I've been Punk's biggest hater here in this whole team for the longest time since 2022. But I'll put my hands up and say that for a guy who was injured for half the year, he probably gave me WWE's most favorite content for me in this entire year. I think CM Punk in WWE is the best absolute place for him. It has the main roster where you can go against people on his caliber and have fun and enjoyment with that. It has the NXT part where it allows him to basically be the teacher and mentor to a lot of youth that look up to him, and his wife as well to that standard as well, from the 2010 era to now. And like Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade are the key example of that. And I think that's what CM Punk wanted the most, was what Anthony said, the give back factor. He wanted to be someone that could teach and pass on his knowledge. And with AEW, there really wasn't that, because there wasn't really a developmental. It was like, if you made it to AEW, you made it, you were on Dynamite. You have made it in that sense. There was maybe not anywhere else for you to really grow. But for WWE, if you're in NXT, well, there's the drive to grow and get the NXT championship, then possibly getting drafted to Raw or SmackDown, and then winning the top belts on that brand. So there's a drive factor there. But the man is just happy. The man is just absolutely happy and caring as well. Like when Cora Jade got her injury, Punk went to see her surprisingly at like a coffee shop. Punk's turns up to NXT quite a lot. When Shayna Baszler went to Bloodsport, Punk was in the crowd there. I actually interviewed Big Lou Nixon, who's a guy from the UK who performed on Bloodsport, and Punk went to him and said, "Hey, loved your match and everything." Like, to be fair, Punk didn't have to do that just to speak to some random British wrestler who had a Bloodsport's match. Even though Lou lost, Lou was grateful for the opinion and getting to chat to CM Punk. He is absolutely in the best place for himself and his career, and yeah, I'm happy for him. I'm happy that CM Punk's in the best place for himself. He gave a great feud with McIntyre. Is it my favorite feud of the year? No, but I think it's my favorite WWE stuff. I like the first match of SummerSlam. I'm not a fan of the strap match, but I think the Hell in a Cell match was an excellent piece of art. I really loved it. Feeling about the belt, the bracelet and all that, here really wasn't the driving factor for me. It was just hearing Punk and Drew talk. Come on. Punk cost Drew in Scotland, and I reacted in the best fun way that Drew ended up sharing the clip of me flipping CM Punk off of the barricade. Yeah, I may have problems with the guy now, but like honestly, I'm happy for him, and I can't believe I'm going to say this as well. I kind of hope Punk can get the World Heavyweight Championship and become the top thing for Raw that it really needs. Continue to have Cody with the WWE Championship and CM Punk with the World Heavyweight Championship would be an absolute game changer. And I think generally Punk is in the best place he's probably been within the last couple of years.
Well, I'll be damned. That's a fair assessment. So, I can't disagree with anything that you said there. I think he's definitely been in one of the feuds of the year. Maybe not obviously not the feud, but in terms of WWE side of things, yeah, it's definitely been in one of the biggest feuds. And I agree. The Hell in a Cell match was absolutely phenomenal. It's definitely one of my favorite matches of the year. I think it's probably fair to say it's on a lot of people's. Maybe not David's, because David watches a lot of wrestling. So, but it's going to be very hard to crack that top 10. I'm sure.
I feel like you're all waiting for me to say. I feel like you're all waiting for me to say "but" or like pull the rug out or be like surprise.
No.
Like
the Hell in a Cell match is not in my 10, but it is very, very good. Very, very, very good match.
Yeah, 100%.
So technically, if Punk takes no losses and ends up winning Gunther's world title, does that technically merge the real world heavyweight championship with that?
all right. I need to actually bring something up here because Allison said this in the daily, and this annoyed me, and I think this is complete utter bullshit, right? So we were chatting about the World Heavyweight Championship, right? And Allison was like, "Oh, it doesn't matter because it gets absorbed into the WWE Championship, and everyone who's won that is technically a WWE champion." So I was like, "Wait, so you mean Dolph Ziggler?" Yeah, exactly.
They're two separate
titles. That's what I
titles.
said. And
No,
was like,
they're not.
So wait, Dolph Ziggler and Great Khali are WWE champions in your mind?
No,
like, yes, because their belts got absorbed into the WWE champions. I'm like, that's not how that works.
No. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. That's not how title mergers.
Go to bed, Ben. God damn it!
No, that's not how it works.
I mean, that brings us to our.
You still got some lasagna, David.
He's contemplating if he needs a 6-pack.
Cheers. There we go.
I mean, chaos. Does that not bring us into another excellent segue about Rock and Roman and Allison's stupid prediction you said in the notes?
Who's hosting this show? You or Chaos?
Me.
Just for that. No, we're not doing that. We're going to be talking about obviously WWE's latest announcement, which is of course WWE's ID, which is obviously the latest indie program that they have launched. And it's kind of it's quite.
I'm just gonna find my ID. Hang on, is here something?
If you have an ID, you're in WWE. That's the flag right there. That's the flag. This is the tagline. If you got an ID, you're in WWE. So yeah, they're basically running their own independent program. Then they obviously they have all these other wrestling schools that they've just got the WWE's sign of approval. So, which is obviously Booker T's school, Seth Rollins' school, Cody's school, Rikishi's school as well. And another one I'm sure I'm missing.
There's a few random ones as well from in there, like from LA and stuff.
Yeah. So it basically, I feel that this is basically what they the global expansion, where they're starting off small, but they're going to obviously expand it more. I think. And this is I think this was what Triple H wanted to do with NXT, but he's now doing it differently. And it's divided quite a lot of people. People saying this obviously can be good, and people don't have to do the grind, or they can instantly realize their dreams going into WWE potentially, and obviously they can hone their skills and build it from there. Other people saying this is very bad for AEW, very bad for New Japan, because basically WWE gets first dibs on all these potential superstars that could go down, come through their doors, and a lot of people are not going to be going through the grind, not going to be going through the indies, not trying to make a name for themselves. WWE was going to have first dibs, which I also agree. I feel like while it is good for some people that just want to have like a fast, not necessarily a fast pass, but a quicker way to WWE, and not try and build your name on the road across the globe, and build your craft, and just learn different styles of wrestling. This kind of prevents you from doing that. But yeah, so it's divided quite a few people. Some wrestlers are obviously agree with it online. Us as fans, we're a bit 50-50 from what I can see. But obviously, I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on this situation regarding the launch of WWE ID. I'll just start off with David, if you're not finished with your lasagna, and then
lasagna's done.
Too faster, bitch.
What's your thoughts?
So this has been a very, very hot topic in our chats today. Obviously, the launch of WWE ID. I think that WWE have been very smart in this from a business perspective, in a ruthless sense. I just from reading, obviously we know very little, but we know track records and we know what's happened before, and I'm a bit worried. In fact, I'm very worried. I think that this will benefit the people that make it, and I think everybody else it will harm. Because for those that make it, fantastic. They get straight up through, they get their track WWE, brilliant. But I've seen NXT UK rip the independent scene in the UK to pieces. I've seen UFC try and do the same thing. Ben Allison brought this up a lot earlier on about the UFC sort of tearing itself by trying to use this system and basically bleeding all the lower leagues dry. I think that's what they're trying to do here, because I don't buy the language that's been used in the press statement, in the sense that I saw a lot of people today say, oh, WWE are giving out free tuition. A, no, they're not. And B, even if they were, that's even more worrying, because Mark Shapiro is not going to give this out of the goodness of his heart. It's not like the end of Christmas Carol where Scrooge wakes up and suddenly, he has a new phone meeting for Christmas and he wants to help the poor. We haven't suddenly hit communist WWE. It's like they are a capitalist business who want to make money and want to drown out their competition. Whether you see that whether you just look at the net positives for WWE, fantastic, that's fine. But for the rest of the industry, this is a power play. This is 100% a power play to get sort of that, basically bleed out the independents through a fast track where people will only want to go to those big schools because they'll get so much more benefits than anywhere else, which will bleed out other training schools who can't get the same level of funding, and then boom, 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 boom. With that said, you could say the same thing about the Performance Center. You could say the same thing about all manner of other schemes that have been put in. You could have said the same thing about the NIL program, though I think that's different because that's external athletes coming in, not independent wrestlers. It's a very difficult, very complicated situation. My big concern is I'm seeing a lot of people on both sides of the argument say, let's just wait and see what happens. We can't make any judgments until what happens. I disagree with that. Whether or not it succeeds or not, we have major concerns. As sort of some people have major concerns, and those major concerns need addressing, because as the analogy that I used in a text that I sent earlier today was, if you were given a brand new model of fireproof wood and you don't think that wood is especially fireproof, and the last time they tried to give you fireproof wood it set on fire, you wouldn't sit there and say, well, we'll just wait and see what happens and wait till the house is on fire. No, you'd interrogate the new brand of fireproof wood before you then try and implement it, in your house. And I think, we have these press conferences. I'm not 100% opposed to the idea. I think there are benefits. I think it can work. But we need to interrogate the proposal as we do any proposal. Maybe not us, we're wrestling fans who just talk about these things online. We can obviously bring it up, but journalists, in a political system, when say a party delivers a new manifesto, it's then down to the leader of the opposition to interrogate that bill and give the opposing arguments. It's the same thing that journalists do. We don't have a leader of the opposition in wrestling. The leader of the opposition is the journalists. So the journalists have got to look at this, work out the pros and cons, and then interrogate them on the cons. If they can come up with good answers, fantastic. I don't want anything to be, horrible. I want everything to work. But all I'm saying is, if we're going to implement a system like this, while it can work and will work probably for WWE, those cons do need pointing out and addressing. And you need to see what WWE say, because not everything WWE does is gospel. Not everything WWE does are out to help. They are out for themselves. Same as AEW are out for themselves, and New Japan are out for themselves. WWE just have a bigger monopoly and a bigger ability to do it. So I think that I have my concerns, and I hope that those concerns can be addressed, because right now I am feeling concerned about it.
Fair enough, and understandably so. And I think the key word is monopoly. WWE is known to be a monopoly, and obviously with TKO, with obviously WWE and UFC under the same banner, and UFC doing the same things, obviously they want to try and spread their, for lack of a better term, infection, or their business plans, what they're doing with UFC, they'll do the same in WWE. And yeah, this is quite evident. It's the evident of that. And like I said, Triple H was trying to implement this before with NXT Europe, NXT Japan, NXT Spain, or Mexico, this kind of stuff. So this is another way to do it. And yeah, like, while it does have pros, I agree that we should more focus on the cons and see, how will this affect the independent scene? Because yeah, as far as WWE, as far as WWE is concerned, they don't really care much about the indies. It almost feels like they hate the fact that people can try and make a name elsewhere, and if you make your name in WWE, they want all the credit, like all the the pageantry and all that kind of stuff. So it is worrying. And yeah, I do feel bad for obviously AEW and New Japan, or wherever they want to get like a special talent to come in now and again and whatnot. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. Like I say, it is early days. We don't really know. I haven't seen it come into effect yet, so we just have to see how bad it becomes. But yeah, from the early outset, it looks kind of looks a bit fishy. What about you, Soul? Let me get your thoughts on this. With regarding the WWE ID, are you on board? Not on board? What's your thoughts?
So it's an odd one. The main thing, I've also moved to my kitchen because David made me hungry with his lasagna talk. Nonetheless, like, obviously I work for an indie promotion. I work for Bleeding Gums Wrestling as their interviewer, and although we're not like a school or anything like that, we rely on wrestlers from all parts of the country to come in, and we need that for obviously the promotion to continue and thrive in its own little niche. So let's talk about ID in itself. Who benefits from this? Well, WWE, obviously they benefit because they're going to get talent to come in, and secondly, wrestlers will benefit because they'll get pay and a place of employment to train and showcase on the biggest stage with the biggest company. However, who doesn't benefit from this is promoters. So it's the main thing is this exclusive? If you go to train to a WWE ID school or associate, do you have to then train and can't go anywhere else to perform? Do you have to stay 100% with this ID school? And then when you're ready, you then go to NXT, perform there. If you work out, you work out. If you don't, you then are chucked out. Do you go back to the school, or are you just chucked out with, yes, WWE knowledge, but you haven't worked anywhere else? Like, that's the thing about it, is like wrestling in itself is a pick and mix. You know how to work the WWE style, but could you work a family show? Could you work a show catered to teens? Could you work a show that caters to an audience that doesn't associate with WWE's methods or ideology? You'd be quite screwed. So let's look at how this would work, right? Let's say Scotland. So Scotland right now, to my knowledge, we have Power Pro, Iron Girders, Glasgow Pro School of Wrestling, CPW, and that's it. There's 4 schools in Scotland right now. So let's say one of them becomes a WWE ID school. What's to stopping, besides spaces, everyone leaving the other schools and going for this WWE ID school, right? Because they know this school is going to get them to WWE. They'll get to train under WWE coaches. They'll get the best knowledge. But then where does that leave everybody else? Where does that leave all the other schools who, here's the thing as well that probably a lot of people I hopefully would know about indie wrestling as well. You don't make a lot of money off it. Nobody goes into making a wrestling promotion with the sole idea of that's my source of income. Maybe for bigger companies, but most indie wrestling companies are passion projects. You have a job that funds your passion project you do on the side. Now, yeah, you would love to have money made off your passion project, but it's not going to make you the full income you need to survive day to day. You'll do your main job and then fund that money into your passion project. Like in the UK alone, we've had 4 companies shut down this year or take hiatuses until 2026. And some companies that were thriving well, like Riot Cabaret, they've been done amazing stuff this year. The main thing about WWE ID that concerns me is the exclusivity of it, because especially in the UK scene, like someone you see on a promotion one day is probably working 8, 12 other promotions within the span of a week. If you take the exclusivity of that performer yes, they get to train in the best environment and get a good pay, but then that's a company lost, or like as many companies were, lost a valiant worker. I know people in our own group chat don't like this, but this is what it is. It's monopolization of wrestlers, because they are, the wrestlers are the currency. They're the currency spent by the companies like WWE, like AEW, like New Japan, to get our own currencies off us into their pockets through the currency of professional wrestling. I mean, Chaos, you'll know this as well, right? Remember when Microsoft acquired Activision Blizzard and they got taken to the high courts here in the UK over monopolization?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It is like that. It is like that. If it happens, it happens. It is just the main thing of this exclusivity of if they're training, can they go elsewhere? Because you need that thing. Like, that's why people like Bryan Danielson, AJ Styles are so good, because they got to go to other places and hone their craft. You need to get out there and learn other fields of this whole thing, because wrestling at the end of the day, it isn't just WWE. There's the King's Road style in Japan, there's the British Strong style, the entertainment, Lucha Libre. You need to gather all of these tools to become the best person you can be. So that's my main worry about it, is if it's exclusivity or not. Again, this is like literally like what been announced in less than 10 hours. So it's a wait and see situation. But if not handled correctly, like NXT UK, which ended up driving the whole UK scene to a withering thing. I mean, look at ICW, a place that used to run the OVO Hydro, and now they're running a building of 40 people in it. Like, there will be that observation and consuming of other platforms and medias and schools. Because, yeah, that's my main worry. Is this whole thing exclusivity or not?
Yeah, that's that. I agree. I think that's what I was meant to say. I forgot to say about what when David said about NXT UK, how they, like you said, they dried it all out from Progress, Evolve, ICW, and then at the end of it all, they just disbanded NXT UK. Like, after all that, and that's why then WWE have the power to do that, to go into these different territories and potentially do the same thing, and then just throw their toys out the pram, and it's just obviously shutting down all these indie promotions where they barely have anything to really start with, but they're making wrestlers and trying to hone their craft and whatnot. So yeah, it's like I say, it's early days. Yeah, it's a wait and see situation. There is some things you have to give it a little bit of a pass, but yeah, just obviously from the outset, from looking in, it just it's a bit tricky, and just considering how the history of WWE is a bit worrisome. What about you, Anthony, as well? What's your thoughts on the WWE ID situation?
I think a lot of it is wait and see. Like you said, I understand it from a business standpoint. A business standpoint, you are investing in your future. You're developing a pipeline to get the newest and best talent. I understand it from a business standpoint. When you're competing in a business against another billionaire in Tony Khan that may pay more than you're willing to pay, if you have some ability to lock up or possibly get some of that upstart talent, I get it. I understand it from that standpoint. And I think it would be naive to say that before WWE put their official stamp on Booker T's school or the official stamp on Cody Rhodes' school, you'd be pretty naive to think that talent weren't going there with the hopes that Booker T would help them get into NXT, or go into Cody and would help them get into AEW or WWE. Like, that's always going to be the case. But there's going to be talent that can't get in those schools. They'll go to the Monster Factory, which is well known, and some other schools. There'll always be talent that doesn't necessarily get filtered into the elite schools. Just like, somebody that doesn't get into the college of their dreams to play for, let's say, Notre Dame, but they get into somewhere else and they succeed in the NFL. It all eventually washes out. The best talent always rises to the top. I don't think that will be the issue. The UK thing, that was a number of factors involved with that. Obviously, COVID hit hard with that stuff. The Me Too movement hit it hard as well. So I think there were a number of factors, not just, WWE took everybody. I don't think that's the case either. It's a competitive business. Every talent's an investment. I could understand if you're paying a talent to be in this training school and to wrestle on Booker T shows. I understand why you want them to appear on some hardcore wrestling show and potentially get injured because this guy's running out of a high school gym and paying you $50. Like, I could understand, you're an investment. I don't want my investment getting blown up in front of 5 people at a small show. I get that. I understand that. But like I said, I think it's too soon to tell whether or not this is a bad thing or a good thing. I look at it as a good thing because it is a quick pipeline to get into the company, but that doesn't mean they're going to get to the company. That just means you have a better chance of getting in, but that doesn't mean anything. And when you have that mark that you went through a WWE school or WWE approved or you appeared on a WWE show, that helps your marketability on the indies afterwards. Because that's why every talent that WWE ever releases, they always go former WWE superstar on the posters for every single one of them. It's why Tony Khan signed some of these people, because they were in WWE before. So I think, yeah, you got to look at the pros and cons, but I think you got to let it play out and see where this goes. You can't just assume it's going to be a bad thing or a good thing. You just got to let it see where it goes from here.
Yeah, of course. No, I totally get that. You have to see. It's like I said, we've all said it. It's a wait and see situation. It's just obviously we're just hanging on by the edge of a seat because of previous. They have previous. No, you know what I mean?
I think for me, and I go back to what I said earlier, and I understand, I do, but there would just be something about Okay, let me put it this way from a sort of political. I know it's different.
No, not politics. Fuck.
No, but let's humor me. If tomorrow Keir Starmer introduced a brand new policy that a lot of the country thought was rubbish, which, to be fair, but let's say any political leader put something out, and all of the opposition parties sat there and went, "Oh, well, we'll see how it turns out in a year and a half." I think it's rubbish. I think I have this issue, and this issue, but we won't know until it happens. So what? Just go do it, and we'll see what happens. And then once the whole thing crashes, I want it to succeed. I do. I want everything to succeed, but I think there's just something about the we won't know until it's done attitude that, whilst I completely get. Now is the time to question these things before it happens. Now is the time you can iron out the kinks, and the things that you think might cause a problem can be addressed, rather than just going.
But we don't know whether or not any of that's been done. All we're going off of a press release, so we don't. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't know anything yet.
I actually,
we've seen it happen. We've seen the UFC do exactly the same thing.
So I don't know the whole.
I understand it's speculation, though.
I don't know the UFC stuff. I actually want to propose a question to Anthony, obviously, because he is Americano. He is the US of A right now. Obviously, you've seen what happened to us with NXT UK, of us having a lot of promotions lose big stars and talent. For the American scene, let's say that happens and a lot of big American stars are maybe drafted to this WWE ID. How do you think the American indie scene would react to that?
The industry always self-corrects. When it had the big 3 in the late 90s, and 2 of them went away, WWE was the sole survivor standing there. What ended up happening? Ring of Honor started up. TNA started up. The AEW started up. There's always going to be talent that doesn't get sucked in by the vacuum. And the industry always finds a way. I don't. When you're looking at it, you have 2 major companies that are trying to sign people in WWE and AEW, TNA to a lesser extent. So there's a lot of talent, and there's always going to be talent that starts up. So I don't panic with this, because the industry always self-corrects, and I feel like that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, that is a fair point. Obviously I'm definitely not saying that this is the end of the world or anything like that. Like I say, it's just that and I agree with David. Some stuff needs to be addressed beforehand. I think the only time that is going to happen is when they're going to try and grill Triple H at the Crown Jewel press conference. That's the only time you're going to try and see if you can ask the question.
I guarantee you, and I could be wrong on this, I guarantee you it's not mentioned at all.
Oh yeah, most likely.
If it is
maybe one question.
If it is mentioned, it's in a very positive light.
Yeah.
Like the press conferences, but the thing is, whenever a tough question is asked at those press conferences, Triple H digs himself a grave.
Yeah.
So it's with the I don't see color and all that awful answers that he's given. Like I see the positives. I do see the positives.
Yeah, there is.
There are positives to this. Having more gateways is always great. It's just I do worry about what message this sends to the industry generally. But again, it's my only concern would be we've seen it happen before.
Yeah.
And we've seen it fail before. So the press release was very positive and very sort of upbeat and uplifting and grand. They focused on all the positives. Now it's a case of all I ask is that we actually look at the negatives, and rather than just dismiss them outright, see if there is see what the potential solutions to that are. Rather than just go, oh, there are positives and negatives, but we'll ignore the negatives and just focus on the positives. If we fix the negatives, then we have more positives.
What do you want them to do if they don't have approved schools? Like, what do you want them to send them a voucher because they're not a part? Like, the industry is what it is. So
what I'm saying is, if you say there are 6, we have 6 schools, we're looking to expand into more schools that essentially act as exclusivity contracts where WWE can basically go and hoover up all the indie stars they want, and they'll go because their resources are so much above everybody else's. The long-term effects of that could be catastrophic. If you literally say, you come to us and you don't wrestle for anyone unless we tell you can. The difficulty to your point, though, Anthony, to be fair, is what is the fix to that? I appreciate that. It's just beyond don't do it. But
wouldn't shows run by like Booker T or Cody School or any of these other schools then thrive because they have the best talent and the undercurrent in the industry would be thriving?
They're the 6 schools that are owned by very famous wrestlers who would thrive anyway. Cody Rhodes School, Booker T School, Rikishi School, Seth Rollins School. This isn't, little
but they're also,
Billy Hobson's gym from the back half of Ireland.
I get that, but they're also getting trained by reputable people. And I'm not saying there's no schools that are not reputable. I'm not saying that. But as well as I do, there have been schools where an ex-wrestler takes somebody's money and does not give them great training. So there's going to be like a set standard of what WWE expects these schools to be delivering, so that these students get their money's worth. If they're paying, or if WWE's paying, whoever's paying, they're getting quality out of it. That would be my thought.
They're not training them to prepare them for a life of professional wrestling. They're training them to prepare them to go straight to WWE.
Here's
where most of them would want to go anyway for the money.
Right? I agree with Anthony's points here as well. This is opening up that might get me in a lot of shit, but it sadly is the truth. There are schools that I've seen in the UK where I look at the classes and I think, none of these people are going to be wrestling in 3 years. Like, this is people doing as a hobby or a little bit of fun. They're not going to go anywhere. They may have the passion for it, but they're nobody that big indie promotions will want to have on their card. They're doing it in their own little camp sort of thing. And if anything, with this WWE ID property, it will essentially weed out the runts of the litter and take the best students and make them into the best athletes. Because at the end of the day, most wrestlers want to go to WWE. Most people want to be WWE superstars. And that's just the nature of the business. So I think Anthony does make a fair point that, if anything, yes, it will harm the indie scene But again, look at the UK scene. It did auto-correct itself with NXT UK. Things are thriving here in a way as well. There's a lot more promotions.
But I disagree. I don't. But they're more promotions, but I don't think nearly to the standard it was before WWE rated it. When you had Dragunov, Walter, Dunn, Bate, sort of headlining your UK shows, and then WWE came in and went, "Well, I've you."
Well, I mean,
and
well, in all fairness,
and now it's with great wrestlers, but like not,
in all fairness, you look at Walter and Dragunov. Like, there's only so far you can go there. Like, you have a finite amount of time where you have an active in-ring career, and you need to make the most amount of money you can because you're going to end up retiring. Chances are at a younger age than the average person if they're working a 9-to-5 job. So that was going to happen regardless.
Well, let's look at it this way instead. Then, if WXW gets famous because of Dragunov, or Progress gets a big boost because of Walter, or MLW gets a massive boost because of Jacob Fatu. You have these sort of stars that rise up through your own promotions. If they're snatched from you before you get the chance to use them, like if you don't get Dragunov coming up through WXW, or you don't get Jacob Fatu coming up through MLW because they show a little bit of promise and get whisked off to a WWE school, then these companies can't grow. Because anybody that shows any bit of promise who's worth their salt will get sent straight to WWE's feeder systems, and then you literally can't. That it becomes harder and harder and harder for the independents to gain any traction, because any of the stars that are worth a damn get dragged off before they get the opportunity to do anything. The
thing I would say to that before I let Anthony jump in, because I know he's itching to get the old going.
It's fine. It's fine.
I would say then, like, look at, Progress, people who've risen up when people like Walter, Dragunov left, Luke Jacobs, Michael Oku, Kid Lykos, Spike Trivet. Like, the fact is that, like, those names weren't really at the stage they were even 5 years ago. And with NXT UK shutting down, like, Flashmore Webster and Mark Andrews, they came back and did Chaos and Attack with Wild Boar. New Wave Academy as well, starting up and having 2 schools that Mercedes Moné attended during All In weekend. My main thing is the exclusivity of it. Like, if you could go to WWE ID school and still go to other independent stuff, then that's fine.
I agree.
I'm cool with that.
I agree with that.
The exclusivity thing is just my main worry, but I think, again, it's just the nature of the beast. Like people forget Cora Jade, Benjamin Fraser, who became Nathan Fraser in NXT, had stops in AEW. Even Taya Vale of Chase U was in AEW for a wee bit, but they got snatched up and were taken to the big leagues. It's sadly just the nature of the business. The best sheep out of the flock will get picked up to be the best lamb's chops. That was a weird fucking analogy, but I mean, you get what I mean. Like,
yeah.
You want the best cuts.
Yeah.
I agree. I'll say this. I think I worded my point slightly poorly, and I think Soul, you worded it better than I could. I think I got lost on a bit of a tangent. I know how the business works. I know WWE are the ringleaders, and I know that they will snatch up the best talent. They will. My point is that if those talents are never given a chance to work anywhere else, then there's no exposure that can be gained from those other promotions. Like Jacob Fatu, so take for example, who came really big, like the few years that Keith Lee was on things, or when people like that, like they were always going to get pushed on to the next level. Of course they were, but at least they had the chance to go there. And while the chance will still be there, I'm just not sure that, like, if it with the exclusivity thing, if it's you can only work for WWE, then that's where I think the biggest amount of pain is going to be inflicted on the independents. So I think you're making my point better than I am, and your point's probably more in line to where I lie. I am concerned about, in particular, the exclusivity problem. But from a business perspective, and that is where I think, from a business perspective, I completely get it. To Anthony's point, I completely get it. But that is where, to me, I think you start to get into. It's the same thing as, for me, why couldn't Stephanie Vercare finish her last few dates in Rev Pro and CMLL before she went to WWE? It's it's the, you work for us, and when you work for us, you don't work anywhere else, which is fine, I suppose. But at a larger scale and at a younger scale, I think the overall health of the business will be hurt at the expense of the health of WWE getting stronger.
No, 100%, 100%. It's a mad one. It's also an exciting one at the same time. But yeah, it does raise questions. Like I said, the Stephanie Vaquer situation. They just stopped her up like just like that, and the fact they could actually do that.
There was the contract. The contract allowed that to happen. Like,
yeah.
So who do you blame?
So they kind of shot themselves in the foot with that. No, I get that. It's just still, you just don't hear that every day. It was something different. So. But no, valid points. And yeah, we'll have to obviously revisit this and whenever it goes into full effect and see how bad or how well it affects the wrestling industry. But of course, obviously, if you have any thoughts on this in comments, leave them down below. And just to wrap it up quickly, because first off, thank you very much, guys, for obviously for just staying on this episode. I know we had a lot to cover, but yeah, I just want to get your thoughts on the potential main event for WrestleMania 41, and why I personally think that it's going to be Rock versus Roman rather than our El Jefe, who's saying it with his chest out that it's definitely going to be Rock versus Cody, no questions asked. This is a guy that was saying profusely that Roman was going to retain at WrestleMania 40. I'm sure there's a lot of other predictions that I'm completely missing, and he just completely fall flat on his face. Like every time Arsenal are very close to winning the championship, and they fall flat on their face and bottle it. So yeah, I just wanted to obviously get your thoughts. Or do you agree, or do you not want that to happen? I know one person that doesn't want it to be Rock versus Roman at WrestleMania 41, and there's of course down below is none other than David Sheldon, as he said in the GC.
No lasagna left.
So no lasagna at all. Every
Sorry,
drop recording.
The reason I just to throw out there, the reason I think that it should be Rock and Roman and not Rock and Cody is just that it's the match that obviously Rock was obviously pitching for WrestleMania 40. Didn't get what he wanted, so he tried to obviously be the good guy and did the pivot and obviously we got what we wanted. But he wants to face his cousin. He wants to do that. He knows that's big money. He will force that through however he gets. The reason he did what he did for this year was obviously make him seem like the good person in the situation, and then obviously the people can forgive him for actually doing the Rock versus Roman, which I guess on paper it is the money match. Will they somehow make it make sense? I don't know, because they almost didn't make it make sense last year. For this Mania, he completely almost screwed everything up. But luckily we got what we wanted and what made sense. But yeah, I feel like in terms of the money and the fact it's in Las Vegas and the prices that they're charging for those tickets, it has to be a money match. I don't think that Rock and Cody, that will still happen probably beforehand, but I just don't think that is the Mania match that people want to see. I think it's definitely since we're in the Civil War stuff going on right now, and obviously what we saw with Bad Blood, he has his sights on Roman. I don't think he's going to waste any other pay-per-view other than WrestleMania. So that's why I feel like that has to be the main event. But I want to get your thoughts first, David. Why do you think, or where you don't agree?
Well, I don't want it to be Roman and Rock singles match for the title. That's my big thing, and this is I think where the difficulty comes in, and where the difference of thing comes in. I'm actually not opposed to it being Rock Roman if there's no title, but there will be. So because as Ben has said, if you've got your biggest match, you want the title on the line. Rock, I have no interest whatsoever in Rock Roman for the world title. None. I have much more interest if you're going to include that as it being Cody, Rock, and Roman. That I have interest in. I just think if you're using the world title, then Cody should be involved somehow. because Cody is the full-time talent who you've actually built fans to care about week on week. If it's Rock Roman for the title, we know the Rock's not winning. If it's Cody Rock for the title, we know that Cody's not winning. So we know that Rock's not winning at Mania. I'd be down for Rock Roman without the title, and do Cody against somebody else for the title, but I don't think that's going to happen. So my Mania World Title matches, if I had my way, is Cody versus Rock versus Roman, and Cena versus Gunther. They're my 2 world title matches if I have my way. I can get away with it with Cena because it's the push for the 17th world title. So I don't mind having a part-timer in that spot. But I just don't think that Rock versus Roman for the world title specifically is interesting. And that is my piece on it. I would much rather, if you're going to do it without the title. And for God's sake, not the People's Championship.
But that is a legit title, just like the FTW Championship.
The FTW title's been defended.
Oh my god, it's crazy how he walks around with that thing.
Genuinely, this pack of silver spoon granulated sugar has more prestige than the People's title. Like, I promise you.
But David, Muhammad Ali's wife actually made that title for him. Like, she actually went somewhere. And actually...
I love Archie, one of our writers and reviewers, so much. But nothing has ever got me over him trying to convince me that was an intentional heel move by Rock. It's like, no. He thinks that title is so cool.
Oh yeah.
And that it's the coolest thing in wrestling, and it's what everybody wants. It's not a naive heel being a naive heel. He thinks it's cool, and 100%. It is not.
100%. Yeah, like it's most likely. I agree. I feel like Rock is going to win the title from Cody, and then Roman's going to be the person to bring it back home at Mania. I think as much as people might have agreed, I think that's when people start siring on this whole bloodline thing. I feel, but I think that's in terms of money wise, that will be. Yeah.
I mean, I've already soured, but I soured a while ago. But like that's sort of coming from my perspective. I'm not unbelievably interested in any of them. Not that interested in Jimmy, Jay, Roman, any of them right now. I'm semi-interested. I'm not going to say it's a bad story because it's not. But I am nowhere near where I was when it was Roman, Sammy, Cody.
Fair enough.
That was when I was at my interest, and it's never got back to that level since then. So at this point, I just don't want to see Cody screwed over.
Yeah.
Like, that is my main thing, is I don't want to see Cody screwed over again. He got his moment at 40, and I applaud that. But I don't want to see him lost to The Rock in this sort of, well, we gave you what you wanted, but piss off now, it's my turn.
That's The Rock, though. That guy's gone.
That's what I mean. The Rock, yeah. heel Rock has done some of the best work he's done in about 20 years.
Yeah.
But,
100%.
But, like, he's still got a massive ego. 100%. And, he will try and push his way again. And while I have no problem with him being in the main event of Mania because he's The Rock, like, I don't want it to be, all right, piss off Cody, it's Rock Roman time now. We try, and that has no real appeal to me at all.
No, understandable. No, that's what everyone's fearing. We'll have to just wait and see how it plans out. What about you, Anthony? Do you agree? You think it should be Rock and Roman or Rock and someone else? Rock and Cena? I don't know. Thrice in a lifetime. What's your thoughts?
Rock and scissors.
I think there's 4 potential options here. It is kind of funny last year where Rock tried to shoehorn himself into the title match, and he's like, the people want this, and the people, well, we don't want this, and he's like, all right, never mind, pivot back. So that's ultimately how that panned out, which I was relieved when I saw that live. But I think there's 4 potential options here. It's either Rock and Cody. It's either Rock and Roman. It's Cody. I said Cody, Rock Roman. The triple threat. I think it's most like what one am I forgetting? I literally had a note to myself.
You said 4. You only mentioned 3.
Yeah, I know. I literally had I literally had it written. Okay, Rock Roman, Cody Roman, Cody Rock, Cody Rock Roman. Why I was forgetting that.
Wait, Anthony, you forgot rock paper scissors.
No. So my opinion at this point, looking at the landscape of the way this is going, I honestly think they're going triple threat with this because Rock has a limited amount of time to do matches. So I don't know whether or not how many Manias he's going to do. And I kind of feel like I could either Rock's ego gets in the way and he takes the title, or he returns the favor because Cody ate the loss at night 1. Does he return the favor? Cody pins Rock, which leaves the door open for Cody Roman 3 at somewhere down the line. I don't agree with the theory that the Rock Roman match needs the title. I think that's BS. I don't buy that. Rock Cena won the once in a lifetime you were at Chaos was not for the title. It wasn't for the title till the second time around. Rock Hollywood Hogan, not for the title. If you're a big enough name, you don't need the title to make it work. I don't think the title is needed to make it work. Personally, I think they're probably going triple threat. That's where I'm looking at now. That's where I'm thinking it's going. In my opinion, I think Roman's going to win the Rumble. He's going to obviously want Cody, and Rock is going to repeat what he did last year and try to shoehorn his way into the title match. And that's how they're going to make the 3-way is my guess. That's where I'm thinking it's going. They want to go big. They want to go to the biggest. I don't know how you go bigger than the 3 of them going off against one another in the match. There's history there. It started in Vegas as far as the 3 of them being at odds. It started in Vegas. Why not finish it in Vegas? Would be my thought.
That is a very, very good point. Yeah, the triple threat definitely sounds more appealing and more of the money match. And yeah, like I think Cody even said it. Was it Pat McAfee or someone? He said it like it's going to be the biggest main event.
Yeah, that's what he said.
And obviously that you could put it down as to PR speech, but yeah, that's not really Cody's spiel. Like if he says something like that, that genuinely means it. So I feel like probably the 3-way, and it protects Rock as well because with the tag match, it
protects Roman because Roman's not going to take the L.
He's not going to take the L, but obviously, you do wonder if Rock can actually work a singles match anymore. Not saying that he's he can't move or anything, but you can definitely take some time. You don't blow up as quickly with the triple threat. So, and he looked great in the tag match. Regarding that, so
and honestly, the rest, and I could be wrong, the last true singles, and I'm not counting the stupid 3-second one that was the Mania, the last real one-on-one was probably Cena, was it not?
It was.
Yes, it was
29.
So you're looking at well over 10 years, right? What I don't remember
years,
yeah, so you're looking at 12 years, and he has not wrestled a long time.
And I doubt he does cardio often.
It's true, but there's a difference between cardio and the ring shape, as they always say when people are out. Like, you don't know till you're in the ring. Yeah. So, working a tag match protects you. Working a 3-way protects you. Working a gimmick match with a street fight or whatever protects you because you can space this out better. That's why it's another reason why I definitely think they're probably going to go 3-way. The only person I think he would trust going one-on-one might be Roman, but I don't, not to say that he distrusts Cody, but I think if he was going to just do one final match, if it was the final match, he probably wants Roman. Roman's the guy that I think he wants for that last match.
More of his style is more slower, more methodical, whereas Cody is like versatile kind of thing.
So I just checked. I just did a quick cage match check. And The Rock's last singles match was his fight with David Zaslav for control of Black Adam in 2022.
That worked out so well for that Warner Brothers franchise, did it not?
So yeah, I jest.
Great movie, by the way. Said no one ever. Yeah, it's
Henry Cavill's last Superman appearance.
Yeah. Now he's moved on to better things. Hello, Marvel. And Warhammer as well.
What was it? Calvarine? Is that
Calvarine? Yeah, Calvarine. But yeah, we're going on a tangent. But yeah,
side note on that, just one quick thing. How did you not, with the multiverse of Wolverines, how did you not have Danny DeVito as a Wolverine? How did that not happen?
yeah. That was the fair point. It should have been the short version that they did.
How did you not do that?
Yeah. God knows. Too much
I'm
money.
I'm sure it wasn't about the money.
You never know. He does act a lot. He doesn't do much. I mean, he was in that Beetlejuice movie, but
that's Tim Burton. But I mean, he has the
wrong podcast, guys. Wrong podcast.
No, coming soon, everybody. Coming soon. No,
coming soon.
It's a cheap plug for you. It's a multiverse.
But yeah, well, I lost my brain. So yeah. So, what's your thoughts on it? Do you agree? Don't agree? Let's just wrap this up, shall we?
I'm gonna wrap it up by opening another whole can of worms. So get ready for this. I think Rock and Roman needs the title, but not because the two people in it need the title. I think they need the title because it needs to, because of other reasons outside of its control. I think it is a triple threat, and I think also Cena and Gunther is the other main. I think Gunther and Cena are going to main event night one because it's Cena's last Mania. I think he's going to get the win, so you're going to give him that because I don't see you putting Cena anywhere else in the card for his last Mania. It's not going to be like. Because people will compare it to Kurt Angle being shoved in one spot of a 36 Mania and not getting a real true send-off. And two is because of all of Anthony's points, the press conference started in Vegas. These three have been intertwined, connected for over a year, returning at Bad Blood with The Rock to stare down Roman and Cody. You could pivot and say I was actually staring at Roman, or I was staring at the green shirt guy because he stole money off me or something. So you have ways to go from there. But I need to throw a question to David. David, are you ready? Mr. Lasagna, Mr. Garfield?
Yes.
Okay. So I brought this up to Allison yesterday. If Rock, Cody, and Roman for the WWE Championship are night 2 main event, and Gunther and Cena are the night 1 main event, does that destroy the concept of the Women's Royal Rumble? Because that means it's the third year in a row the women don't main event a WrestleMania in any aspect for their championship.
That is true. And that is why I would not have Gunther and Cena main event night 1.
Really?
And the reason being, the problem we currently have is neither of the world title feuds are good enough to women's world title feuds are good enough to main event a Mania, which is not the women's fault. It is the fact that the WWE do not care right now. They need to book better. If they can book a main event of night 1 caliber match, they absolutely can, and they should. They did last year. They had Bayley and Io, but I get why they didn't go with it, why they went with the tag match instead. But it was disappointing. I think they can still get there. Whatever the match that Cody or Roman or Rock is having has to main event night 2. It has to. But I can see a world in which Gunther Cena doesn't necessarily main event night 1. If that in my own pitch. Granted, that's probably not the match they go with, but I've had my mindset on this for months. I could see that opening a show. I could also see that coming. It's tricky, but I would like the women to main event night 1. But in order to do that, you have to have a story that's strong enough. And they've got time to come up with it, but let's just see what they do.
What if, David, it's Rhea Ripley versus Dominic Mysterio in the main event of night 1?
No.
Oh, for goodness sake, dude.
David does not have any more lasagna to eat. Can I be perfectly honest? My opinion has always been this with Mania since they went to 2 nights. I don't think you should decide the main events just based on gender. Like it should be the 2 best stories. I don't care if it's 2 guy matches, 2 women's matches. It doesn't matter. The 2 best stories should be the true main events were of that year. Like, that's my opinion on that. It shouldn't just be dictated.
And that's what they've done the past two WrestleManias. The one that
no, that's what I mean. Like, I
Yeah.
agree with their booking decisions for the past 2 years. I think the Bloodline has been the hottest story. It made sense why you were doing it. You know, it made sense when it was Becky, Charlotte, and Ronda main eventing. It made sense. As long as it makes sense and it's the best story going into it, I have no problem with that as a whole. I do have one question, Chaos. Are we covering the MJF Cole thing as you promised the people, or are we not doing that?
Nah, yeah, we're running over. Unfortunately,
He's scrapping
got lucky.
Tell you what,
the Soul's advantage.
I'll give you a 3-word review. If you'll give a 3-word review, my 3-word review is bit shit in it. There we are. That's my 3. Soul, 3 words.
Cole, baby. Yeah.
Anthony, you got
3.
one?
Anthony?
Yeah, sure. I don't know if this counts as 1 word or 2. I'm going to go clusterfuck show.
Chaos?
It's my show, so I'm going to do 4. Eat shit, drink piss. That's what I feel.
That's nothing to do with the MJF Adam Cole. That's just Chaos life lessons.
I mean, honestly, I don't think there were so many avenues they could have went with this thing to somehow make it make sense, and they failed to follow the KISS principle of keep it simple, stupid. They're treating the audience like they're stupid. Of things are not. What you watched, that wasn't canon now because we've decided. What are you, George Lucas with Star Wars? You're rewriting history. Stop. Don't treat the fans like idiots. There were ways out of this.
This is why, the next episode I need to have Soul back on this guy. I want to get his honest thoughts on the situation. And because I don't think it's going to be a 5-minute conversation from us. I feel regarding that, and obviously how it should have booked.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I definitely want on that Chaos.
We'll definitely have to revisit that.
I'm gonna pull a sickie.
Say again.
I'm gonna pull a sickie. I'll pull sick leave on it. I can't make it.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we look forward to that. Yeah, we'll see. All right, cool, guys. Well, yeah. On that glorious note, we've come to the end of the episode. As always, thank you very much, Anthony. Thank you very much, David. Thank you very much, Soul, for joining us at the table. Quick little plug for the next episode. It is actually going to be the return of the debate episodes with our good man Shad as well, versus he's going to be debating with Megan as well, from that's also part of the WR team. And
what?
why they think that Becky Lynch is the greatest of all time. That's what they're debating on. So
did Shad pull out? No, it's Tiffy. Shut up, lol.
Well, see, if you know Shad, then you know, innit? So yeah.
Spoiler alert. Like,
shut up. Knowing is Paul Heyman Halloween works.
I will also pull out my own little plug before we finish the show.
Yes.
First episode of the Lights Camera Reaction podcast is coming soon. I promise.
Hey, we're plugging shit. We're plugging shit.
This beer is coming. This the beer is coming promo. That's right.
We're plugging shit.
Since we're plugging stuff, Sold Separately airs on Fridays on the network.
There we go. There you go. Soul. There we go. We're going to 5 minutes
for this for the network. This is for my own domain. It's called Soulcock. It's instead of Peacock. It's the new streaming service coming.
No, Soulcock. No, we don't want that. Cancel that. No. Don't trademark that.
Yeah. Anyway, seriously, the Soul Sessions is still coming out. Got a couple episodes in the pipeline. Next episode of the Soul Sessions collection will be featuring a talent from Impact Wrestling who's been on the show, featuring one of her ring gear used for a match. So that'll be a collection piece shown on the Instagram. Nonetheless, more episodes coming out on my own domain. Please subscribe. I need money.
Yes, definitely.
Chaos, so much editing to do. It's not even funny. Future Chaos is going to be cursing current Chaos.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Why don't edit?
I'm apologizing in advance. It's crazy now, but yeah, as always, it's been fun with you guys. And hopefully see you back in the next episode of Take It to the Table. Until next time, guys, I have been your host, Chaos. He has been Anthony. Down below has been David Sheldon. Down over there has been Soul. And until next time, guys. Peace. Also, by the way, Soul, that soul cock thing.
Brother,
I gotta say,
It's just a streaming. It's just a streaming service. Don't go on
I
about
don't
it.
give a fuck. Cancel that. All right, peace.
It's chaos.